What is the difference between self-pleasuring and masturbation? This one is a lot like the making love versus fucking video. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's done previously. Hi, this is Liana, holistic intimacy coach. Welcome back to my channel. Here, I help you get your orgasmic intimacy. Before we get into this topic, I'm so curious what you have to say. I want to remind you of two resources that are extremely valuable. Get Your Orgasmic Intimacy ebook. It's on Kindle, Amazon. That is a coaching book. Whenever you're freaking out with something around intimacy, you can go directly to the topic that bugs you and get coaching insights, client anecdotes. I've worked with people that have banged their head against the wall with very annoying topics, and you can learn from their situations, or simply coaching micro experiments or coaching exercises. Those can come in handy and they can help you untangle a situation. The second resource, the dojo. 5 programs, all with practices. Okay, we do stuff there, and it's video practices. Intimate Touch, 3 programs. They have a discount code. One is for women, all women's practices around the pelvic floor, and we work with all the pelvic floor, ladies. And the general one for intimacy growth. You learn about the 10 challenging situations in intimacy that clients brought in coaching. You learn about overall practices, what it means to embody your sexuality, and some other videos around understanding sexual growth. I also opened a Patreon page where you can join me for daily practices. They are audio, recorded, and you can choose from multiple levels depending on how much you want to work with me directly or simply recorded. Enjoy. So likewise, I believe the phrasing of it actually is pretty self-explanatory. Self-pleasuring. Okay, it's more conscious. You really take the time to bring yourself pleasure. By the way, self-pleasuring is more complex. It doesn't have to be just sexual and with a release. Masturbation, what are we thinking about? Exactly that. Whether it's for men or women, touching ourselves sexually, pretty narrow in the genital area, and taking us to the point of release, of orgasm, of ejaculation. Well, self-pleasuring, by the way, one beautiful thing about it is that you can do it with somebody else also. Yes. There is a practice that I really enjoy when I got trained as a somatic sex coach. I had to go through with all my colleagues, by the way. Everybody had this assignment. We had to find a partner, not necessarily an intimate partner, just a practice partner, and invite them to witness us while we were self-pleasuring. It was up to us to define how they would witness us. Maybe somebody was comfortable to actually having the person next to them and looking at them while they were self-pleasuring. That one's very direct. It raises the bar to like a gazillion levels high, you know? Maybe somebody else wanted the person to just be further away and looking, or further away and not even looking, just listening. Maybe somebody chose to put the person in another room and maybe overhearing something. Still witnessing, by the way. You know, you can be a witness, visual, audio, in many ways. Then there's also the freedom to define what self-pleasuring means. Okay, it's not like masturbation where you just go for sexual release. This one is more broad, and you can really define what pleasure is for you in that moment. I think the term self-pleasuring, from my coaching perspective and also from my training, so I do have this bias, gives more room for choice, for exploration, for tuning into your mood in that moment. Maybe in one moment you want to bring yourself pleasure with something that is not sexual related at all. Masturbation is just sexual related, but pleasure is the more complex and more fertile foundation for a beautiful intimacy. So I believe from a coaching perspective, the self-pleasuring approach is more resourceful over the long run. Now, if you're somebody who's super fast, super sharp, doesn't really want too much, you want to keep sex simple, nobody's going to judge. I mean, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to push you to be in any way that maybe you don't want to be. There are some intimacy coaches that really encourage people to break away from a pattern. But, it's really important to ask yourself, what do I want to go for right now? What do I want to go for in this time of my life or in my relationship? Do I want to grow and work on the more complex stuff? Do I have my mind in so many other directions and I just don't have the energy for this right now, or the time, or maybe the money also? Check out the video about, do you have a budget for sex? Sometimes growth also implies money. So maybe you are best with masturbation once or twice or a certain time in your life. There's no judgment. There is choice. And there is also, and this one is important, there is also looking at what benefits do you get. How do you benefit by masturbating? How do you benefit by self-pleasuring? Again, your definition is also important. If you look at simple, straightforward to the topic, masturbation, or more complex, more not even related to sexuality sometimes, or just more sophisticated, what are your benefits basically when you engage that way? If you don't see them, fine. If you see them, great. That's how you decide which one you go for. As a coach, I interact with both. Anytime I've encountered people that kind of shamed me or belittled me in a more subtle way for going for masturbation and not building something very complex, initially I would feel offended, and I kind of took it in a really bad way. It kind of hurt my ego. And then I told myself, no, I'm going to release people who shame me for something in particular because, if I feel like masturbating, I masturbate. If I feel like self-pleasuring and maybe inviting somebody in when I'm there, I will do that. There's so much more freedom and power in your choice and in the relaxation that nobody judges you for your choice. Super important. So what is it for you? What does self-pleasuring mean for you? What does masturbation mean for you? And which one of these two do you go for more often? I would love to know. Also, check out the resources that I have. I think those will be resourceful in case you want to go for self-pleasuring and the beauty of more complex things, even if it's, once in a while. So that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.